Me one, even if I don't drink it, it can go back.
Nurse
they are
it.
Bud Lights.
Nurse it. Nurse it.
They're Bud Lights, so it doesn't make me want to like just put it in my body.
Put that beer in your body. We are live, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. See, now he's gonna go back and listen to this show and say, "What the hell happened? I touched the mic." Well, I just got to say welcome, friends, patrons, Scuttle Buddies, and true believers to another edition of our Quick Cuts show. A reminder, we take 3 topics or questions and have friends on the show to pick them apart. The topics, not the friends. Breaking them down and seeing where we stand on said topics. And, of course, we got Shanti is also joining us whilst on vacation. How's that going, Miss Shanti girl?
Lots of naps.
Lots of naps.
It's great.
That's hilarious. And obviously we want to thank a big thanks to our boys at the Escape Pod, fellow Red Fivers, Don and Brady. How are you guys?
Hey, how's it going? What's up? Doing great, doing great.
Excellent, excellent. So we got a few people in the chat. Let's say hello to them right after our little musical interlude. Anybody got your clubbing shoes on? Let's hit Let's hit the dance floor now, shall we?
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
It's true. Yes, it is. Thank you very much, guys. In the chat, we got a whole bunch of people in the chat. You know, this is probably the earliest we've ever gone live. We usually don't do the Quick Cuts live, but tonight we're doing it live. But because why the hell not, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, Shanti, you couldn't be napping all night, so we had to wake you up. So let's go. Let's go. We got Dale in the chat. We got Dave in the chat, and I want to thank Davey Richards. He's one of the people that suggested. Oops, hold on a second. I just heard myself. That was weird. My YouTube is not up. So, anyways, we got Davey in the chat, Davey Richards. Give him a follow. Thank you very much. He's one of the guys that gave us tonight's topic, as well as Ollie K, one of our very, very original followers. So he's up in Canada, great guy, and he does a lot of cool art and some awesome music. But we also, our third topic, one of our new Star Wars friends, who apparently is driving now, so we don't want him to crash. But Han Talks First, a new follower. He posed a really interesting question for our third Quick Cuts topic. We'll hit that up after we talk about these first ones. But who else do we got in the chat? The Science Fictionary, our family, Red 5 family. Matt Vader's here. What's up? And Frank, we were just talking about you, Frank, just a couple of minutes ago. Your ears were ringing, weren't they?
'Tis true.
'Tis true. 'Tis true. So before we get to the Quick Cut topics, I wanted to ask you guys. There's been some rumors about casting when it comes to some of the new Star Wars live action series that are going on. So Ezra and Thrawn, we've got supposedly we got some new actors. Are you guys following any of that?
Yes.
I saw Thrawn was supposed to be Mickelson's brother, right? Lars Mikkelsen?
Lars, right.
Mm-hmm.
The one who voiced him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Exactly.
Do that.
Exactly.
Do that all the time.
And then
And then we got Ezra.
Ezra's supposed to be the Aladdin kid.
Yes.
Yeah, Mena Masood? Masoud?
I believe you.
You believe me?
I believe you.
Okay. Excellent. I got a bridge to sell you too. But yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward to all the new stuff. Obviously, we are. There's I can't remember. There's an account that keeps posting. We are one day closer to the Cassian Andor series. Obviously, that's going to be a favorite of mine. The Book of Boba Fett, obviously. Are there any new Star Wars items, whether it's on TV, small screen, or any other property that you guys are really looking forward to?
I agree with you. I'm one of the few, I think, that's looking forward to Andor. I don't feel like a lot of people are looking forward to it. I was surprised to hear you say that you're looking forward to it, because I really am as well.
I love that series. I love obviously Rogue One, special place in our heart here at the Scuttlebutt podcast. We based our entire show on that movie, name and stuff like that. But Shanti, what are you looking forward to?
Andor as well, because I love Rogue One, and for me, Kenobi. I'm looking forward to the Kenobi series.
Well, yeah.
That's the one I want.
I think fans are going to collectively lose their minds when we start seeing, the first trailers for the Kenobi series. Ewan McGregor, maybe fighting somebody in a black cape and a black helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? That's there's also a little controversy about that meeting, but I think it might work out. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
in for it. So you can sell it to me. They can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You're so gullible, man. What the hell?
I'm easygoing. I was
We'll
listening.
take what we can get.
I'm one of those ones who I shut off my brain to go to your last episode. I shut off my brain.
Thank you.
And that obviously is a quote taken from Matt Vader 74 and the guys over at the Salty Nerd podcast talking about turning off your brain. And that was a really good episode. We had definitely had some thoughts about that. But Scott Rapina's in the house. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. And so let's just get down to it. We got our first topic, and I wanted to dive right in. Thank you, Dave Richards, for this topic. So let me read it right off of his post. TV, film, comic book franchise crossovers. Cash in or genuine attempt to introduce new stories and creative opportunities. Alien versus Predator. We're all familiar with that. Both of those franchises. Freddy versus Jason. He posts Simpsons and Family Guy, or maybe, and this is kind of a funny one, Murder, She Wrote and Magnum P.I. And he wrote, "Yup, that happened." I think he's right. Did that actually happen? I'm going to have to look that up on YouTube. But what do you guys think about that? Those franchise crossovers, and I know, I've designed a couple of Scarif Scuttlebutt, kind of logos with, Captain America and the Avengers and Bond, doing our own little crossovers. But what do you guys think about doing those crossovers? Do you guys think they're valuable, or do you think that they mess things up when it comes to their own universe?
Go ahead,
like something like a Star Trek versus Star Wars. I mean, that would kind of be mind-blowing to me, but what about some of the other things that have been mentioned here?
Personally, I think that it's excellent when it's done in fan service. Like, for example, G.I. Joe and Transformers had a crossover when we were kids. And the people who watched both those shows thought that was great. There was no toy line that came out with that. There was no product development that went with that. It was just a thing that they did because the two different groups would like it. I think that even applies to like the Freddy versus Jason movie. Mm-hmm. That was just two fan bases that wanted to see a thing, and the creators of a thing responded to that.
Yeah.
I think, Matlock Murder, She Wrote was probably a ratings grab. It's like, how do we get these old people and these old people to watch this together
before they die?
Right.
Oh my God. Jeez, Ro.
Get the Nielsen ratings up just for one day. A lot of times it doesn't enrich or destroy a franchise. It's just a thing that happens. Some people look fondly on it, other people don't.
I think it depends on the franchises too. I mean, I take example. I have 3 little girls who watch all kinds of Disney and Nickelodeon television shows, and they do a lot of those cross-platform across television shows. And when it's done like that, like you said, there's no promotion to sell anything. They're just putting this group of television show with this group of television show, and it's just there for the kids to enjoy. I think when it's done right, it's done right.
Before we move on, one thing that illustrates that point, we saw E.T. or E.T.'s people in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It was a nod to people who are like, oh, I love that thing.
But, as fans, obviously, now you've got folks that are, thinking about that. So they're thinking about how that changed the feel of the movie E.T. back in 1983, because since the E.T.s were in episode 1 during the council scene, they were there. Now people are like drawing inferences about, now it makes sense that E.T. went to Yoda or that little kid with a Yoda mask, because they must know Yoda. So it's one of those funny things that fans, kind of I think we over-examine things like that. But I think it definitely has this epic fun thing of doing. I mean, we're sitting there as kids playing with different action figures and doing our own mashups. Since we were younger. So, Shanti, what do you think?
I feel the same way. I think if it's done well, then it's done well. As with anything, I do think sometimes it is done maybe for the ratings or the cash grab, but all in all, I think it's fun. It also depends on the franchise. I personally disagree with the whole Alien versus Predator thing, but that could just be that the movies weren't well made in my opinion. But I didn't necessarily mind the crossover. Yeah, I didn't necessarily mind the crossover. It's the execution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with those movies, I didn't really mind. I mean, they are what they are, and I think it almost seemed, they seem like a very appropriate, fun, crossover. So it's kind of cool. What other crossovers would you guys hate to see? And now for me, I just mentioned Star Wars versus Star Trek, and I think that would be almost like antimatter and matter touching each other and the universe just kind of exploding. But what would you guys have absolutely no part of as far as a crossover series goes?
Star Wars and Marvel.
I heard that.
I don't want that. I don't want that. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, heck, you could put almost anything with Marvel because Disney owns everything.
Yes, this is true.
Now we could put Aladdin in Marvel or
right.
Yeah.
Care Bears or something.
No, I would pay money for that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, now obviously, the multiverse existed, I could totally see a Care Bear popping up somewhere.
You get like the Care Bear Smurfs death match.
Right.
That would be awesome.
That would be fantastic.
Now, one of the things, obviously, we've got some crossovers that are not really intended as crossovers. So when Blade Runner came out, people swore that they saw the Millennium Falcon in there in a flyby shot. These are all kind of like tidbits and things that the special effects people behind the scenes were doing just to kind of kind of like as a homage to the properties that they're referencing. Obviously, Star Wars, ILM, Blade Runner, part of the Lucasfilm family. But it still gets fans talking. It still gets fans kind of like trying to figure out the connection. We start making these connections because of not only the crossovers, but some of the things that we see in the special effects. Like I said, what are like this C-3PO and R2-D2 as part of the hieroglyphs in Raiders of the Lost Ark, stuff like that. But how wild would it be if somehow those two worlds got connected?
Well, my favorite theory about that is that when Han Solo's frozen in carbonite, he's dreaming of the stuff that Indiana Jones did. So the whole thing happens in his mind while he's frozen.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and there is a comic book where I think Indiana Jones is looking for something in a jungle, and they go up a ramp of this vessel or something, and then you see Chewbacca way in the distance. And it turns out that they found the Millennium Falcon buried in a jungle somewhere. You can see parts of it, but you can definitely tell it was the Millennium Falcon. So that's interesting stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Vader brings up an interesting point. Crossovers a lot of times are out of laziness. They do things when they're out of ideas.
Well, that's definitely. I mean, that's where the money grab comes in. I think that's where the cash grab, as they say, starts to come in. What can we do that we already have? What properties do we already have that we can kind of crisscross and mishmash to generate more money, to generate more cash, instead of giving fans maybe something new, whether it's with the same property or with something just completely new. But I mean, what do you guys think about cash grabs? Do you think that obviously there's a lot of movies that have been classified by fans as cash grabs? I'm gonna say the new the basketball cartoon movie. What the hell is the name of it?
Space Jam.
Yeah, Space Jam. I mean, it's bombing with fans. It's just almost like a carbon copy of the original, and the original obviously is a massive classic. But
it's pretty obvious the reason why.
Yeah.
Because the young generation now has no reverence for Looney Tunes. Whereas when the Michael Jordan one came out, we all still loved Looney Tunes because we grew up watching.
Yeah.
No,
Whereas the kids now, they just didn't.
And then Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that the storyline is completely different. I mean, LeBron wasn't going through what Michael Jordan was going through at the time when the first
but you
Space
can
Jam came
argue
out, so.
you could argue a 10, 11-year-old has the same reverence for LeBron James that you had for Michael Jordan.
Maybe. I mean, mine was pretty strong. I named my kid after Michael Jordan, so.
True, but there will be people that name their
I have Michael
sons
Jordan
LeBron.
tattooed on my body.
Of course.
So.
I'm just thinking that it's purely because the kids don't want to see it and the adults are offended because it's not MJ.
A little bit. I watched it. I watched it. I wasn't impressed with it, and I'm not a LeBron hater, but I wasn't impressed with it. It could have been.
I also think it's too long for a kids movie. Isn't it like 2 hours or something?
Yeah, it was
That's a little long for a kids movie.
Yeah.
But like movies like that, a lot of times I kind of figure that they're made for the parents more so than the kids. And obviously the parents grew up. There's Looney Tunes in it, like you said. We grew up with Looney Tunes. So why didn't this one hit like the original one? Who knows?
Same reason the Tom and Jerry movie didn't get anybody to go to the theaters.
Yeah.
The adults were like, yeah, maybe when I was 7, but not now.
But, we still do watch animated features. We still, we're all over the Bad Batch and some of the new stuff that's coming out. Scarif is going to do a special show in the future with Ashley and Brandy about animation and being adults. It's fascinating stuff. I think, Matt Vader said it here. He still watches Looney Tunes. Why am I not surprised?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with watching Looney Tunes, but my kids
Looney Tunes.
like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like all the stuff that supposedly is getting ruined by Hollywood now is stuff that we grew up with, and it's somebody said it either in the chat here or now. It's like there's a lack of I don't want to go as far as saying respect, but maybe a lack of understanding of those properties that made them as popular as they were. Nowadays it's just like, all right, let's just slap some shit together.
Well, Hollywood just can't get out of their own way. Look at the Transformers franchise. So they, everybody, once the nerds started ruling the world, they were like, hey, let's do Transformers. And then what do? The studio, the ones with all the money, finance it. It says, we want Michael Bay to do it. Michael Bay doesn't like Transformers, but who gives a fuck? He'll blow it up and then, it'll sell.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true.
And love or hate Michael Bay, I think his style is definitely something that is his and his only. I mean, who can direct an actor, walking in slow motion in front of an explosion better than Michael Bay?
Right.
You know?
Well, look at the giant turmoil we got going on right now about the Masters of the Universe cartoon.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it or hate it, you still have to acknowledge that Kevin Smith is a lifelong Motu fan.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote that story from the mind of a lifelong Motu fan. Whereas half the stuff that Hollywood's been giving us when they're regurgitating our childhood is by people who have no reference for the source material.
Right.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
I find that fascinating. And Matt Vader, keep talking because we'll pick up whatever you feed us and talk about it. But yeah, it's so getting back to our second Quick Cuts topic, Ali K. And this is kind of related. We were talking about Star Wars and Marvel and how we would hate that. But his question is, if we can name one Star Wars character that gets to enter the Marvel verse, and then vice versa, we can name one Marvel character that might cross over into Star Wars, who would it be? Shanti, I'm going to go with you first because you are perplexed, confused, and horrified even at that sentence. So... It's definitely an interesting, like I said, I definitely don't want any of that.
No.
And again, growing up with comic books, we had a lot of crossovers. We had, Superman versus Spider-Man, obviously Marvel versus DC. We had a lot of crossovers there. But yeah, Star Wars and Marvel is kind of an iffy thing. We said it in the chat, Star Wars and Star Trek. I never want to live to see that happen. It's just too weird, man. But what do you think, Shanti? Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel? Who do you picture coming over to the dark side?
Well, from Star Wars to Marvel, I don't know why. I immediately thought that Han Solo might fit in with the Guardians of the Galaxy crew. I could probably see that. But Marvel to Star Wars? You're going to have to circle back. I need time to think on that one.
I think Rocket Raccoon would fit in there. I mean, we've got a giant ant playing cards. Why not a raccoon with a semi-automatic machine gun?
Oh my God.
Right?
That's actually a good pick. I like that.
But yeah, I think a lot of those characters from Guardians of the Galaxy, especially that that aspect of the franchise, might kind of transfer.
Yeah, because I can't
over.
see anybody else. It would have to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was my answer when I saw the question earlier today.
Yeah.
It was Peter Quill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I can see that. I can
Yeah.
see him in Star Wars.
Matt Vader's got a perfect combination there. Chewbacca could hang out with Groot.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
thought about that too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
They would just talk.
And nobody would know
I
what
am
the hell
Groot.
they're saying.
I am Groot. I am Groot.
What about you guys?
Let's not give him ideas, please. I don't want this to happen.
I know. What about you guys?
My idea was stolen. It was Peter Quill was mine all day. That's the one I thought of earlier.
I want to see Doctor Strange as a Jedi.
Doctor Strange. Oh yeah, or like a Jedi master.
Mm-hmm.
I
Being
can
able
see that.
to
Yeah.
open time and move things around, and
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
that could be fun.
It's a good pick.
Could be fun, but we don't need to make it happen.
That's exactly. Let's not enable.
Yeah.
It seems like us as fans, we like to, like when we were kids, I want the peas to be in this section. I want the mashed potatoes over here and the carrots over here. It's like we don't want like a mishmash. And I know we have, Freddy versus Jason. Somebody mentioned that in the chat. But yeah, it's I definitely don't want a lot of my stuff to mix for whatever reason. But
I feel horror is the only genre where that can
that
be
might
done.
work. Yeah.
Thrawn would be good in Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
play him as the big mastermind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Always trying to figure people out.
Wait, did you say Tron?
Yeah, that would be cool too.
Or,
This is my
Tron. Yeah. I love Tron.
Me too. I have a huge soft spot for the Tron movies.
So do I. One day we got to talk about it. One of them, the last Tron has to do with the passing of my father in '08, and then I went to go see that movie, and when Junior meets Dad back in the computer, I just lost it.
I bet.
Fuck, man, I was just torn to pieces. Him seeing his dad again after thinking he was dead, and me, yeah. But that's going to be another show, man.
I'd be in for that.
Matt Vader's got another good one, Star Wars and Micronauts crossover, and I think didn't we have that in the early '80s? I thought I remember a Star Wars Micronauts crossover. And damn, you are old, Matt Vader. Micronauts? I haven't thought of Micronauts since the early '80s. Love it. That is awesome.
I might be too young for Micronauts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm aware of what it is, but I don't remember ever seeing it.
I don't know what it is.
I'm opening a beer.
Yeah, Brady's still sitting at the kids' table in this group, I think. No, Shanty's probably younger than you.
Oh, no, Sean. Yeah. She's got
You and Shanty are sitting at the kids' table.
It's fine. Don't judge
Yeah, I
us.
don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. You're just
Adulting
jealous because
sucks.
our cups have lids.
I got gray in my beard.
Yeah. That's hilarious. So, yeah, those are some good ones. So let's I sent you guys that third topic. Shanti, you want to read that one off? And this is from one of our new friends, Han Talks First. He looks like he also does a podcast and love to hang out with him on the Scarif Live, and then maybe do a little crossover of our own with everybody. But Shanti, you want to read that last
Sure.
quick cut?
This is a good one. This is a good one. Should art be judged on its own, or should it be judged with its respective artist? For example, if you have a highly acclaimed movie, but the artist behind is a terrible person, should that reflect the art itself? You could also think about actors. Kevin Spacey, for example. Some say watching him in movies today makes them uncomfortable, but should that affect classics like Seven or The Usual Suspects and how they hold up overall? Yes, interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, that is a good one.
It is.
And the whole Kevin Spacey thing too. I mean, they let him go from the last season of his show, and they brought in the wife as a character, and that's how does your minds work as far as that goes? Are you able to see projects where maybe a director or somebody in the movie are just complete assholes and maybe did something wrong? The only thing that really comes to mind besides Kevin Spacey is who's that director that likes young girls?
Well, all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Narrow it down there, Ro. Anyways, what do you guys think? I'm gonna Google this director while you guys talk about that.
I got a really, I think it's an interesting way that I look at this. I feel like I'm okay with whatever art came from whoever, as long as that art doesn't exactly reflect the thing about him that makes him gross. For example, if you had a Kevin Spacey movie where he was spending a bunch of time with 14-year-old boys, I might have an issue with that particular film. If there was a Michael Jackson song that said, "I like the way your little hand feels on mine,"
Oh my God.
you know what I mean? Like I might have a disconnect
Right.
there. But it's not gonna. I'm not gonna have a problem with Dirty Diana anytime.
Right. Dirty Diana.
Good song.
Matt Vader, thank you very much. You are my living Google. Roman Polanski is the
Oh.
director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To finish that off, though, when new projects come out with people I find morally reprehensible, I don't support that. financially. I just vote with my wallet.
Yeah, I could see that. That's probably the best way to do it.
Like, I probably won't ever go see an Army Hammer movie again.
Nope.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like with Kevin Spacey, although it is strange, and it could just be maybe they're not playing his movies as much anymore on TV, but ever since his scandal went down, I honestly now can't remember the last time I watched The Usual Suspects or watched American Beauty, which I love American Beauty. And it's not so much because I can't sit through it and watch. I still unfortunately think he is a great actor, but there is something in me now that's kind of like, I don't know if I would voluntarily put the movie on, but if he came out with a new project right now, I would not support it in the least bit, and I probably would not watch it. But I could probably stomach watching what he's already been in.
Right. Yeah, our brains do kind of cut to that chase and think about the fallout of whatever that actor or director was involved in. And and sometimes it is distracting, although you're watching this movie and maybe it had nothing to do with the overall concept of the movie, but you're thinking about that, and it does kind of affect how you perceive that movie.
I mean, look at Harvey Weinstein. Look how many movies have been produced by the Weinstein Company. I mean, what am I supposed to do at this point? I don't believe, especially when it comes to art, I don't believe in censorship. But it's not like I'm going to forget that these things happen. I'm not going to always have it running in the back of my mind. I still think Harvey Weinstein is an absolutely despicable person. But what am I supposed to do now? Literally cut everything that I love out of my life because it came from his production company? Well, I don't see myself doing that either. I don't know. It's tough.
Harvey Weinstein doesn't write or direct movies either.
No, and I understand, but a lot of people feel by just watching it, you're giving the royalties that, you know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing, and I don't see it that way.
Yeah, it's it's interesting, and I know a lot of people separate the art from the actor or the art from the director, and I think for the most part sometimes. And Matt Vader said it. I've heard him say it on the Salty Nerd podcast from time to time. Like if we were to boycott like everything that we think we would like disagree with, we'd be staring at a blank screen all the time.
We'd have nothing to do.
We'd have nothing to do. But so it's. But you know what though, Don, you have a point. When you don't like something because of whatever reason, you do have, I guess, a way to vote, and that's vote with your wallet. And I know a lot of people did that, for various other movies, or products. I know there's a lot of things happening in the entertainment world that people are, weighing in on. And, I think with Hollywood, because it is kind of a factory that churns out product for us to consume in the form of movies and, music or whatever, voting with your wallet is probably the best way to do it. And, it's just kind of interesting. It's a great question from our new follower. Any other thoughts on that? Because, these are all kind of like really... deep questions that have their multifaceted answers, but and everybody has different sensibilities too as far as what they will watch, what they will participate in, especially in movies. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm not gonna support scum or scummy people or things. So if there's an association with it, I can do without it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I say I don't want to know for the most part, because I mean, look at we all love Star Wars because that's how we all got here. I assume that over the making of 9 movies, there's some human being that was involved in making that movie that is a pederast or a wife beater or some other form of monster.
Right.
But if I don't know already, I just soon not know. Stop raining on my parade here.
Yeah. The lighting director likes to play with...
Yeah, the one in the pink shorts.
Right, exactly.
Oh, that was a boom operator, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm not going to judge.
I never
ne-
went to church.
Next Scarif Con, I want you guys come
In
dressed
shorts?
in pink shorts.
Well, hopefully I'm in good enough shape by then to do the shirtless thing, but not right now.
That is hilarious. That is awesome. Great, guys. You know, these Quick Cuts episodes are designed to be, quick and fast and fun. So any final thoughts on any of our topics before we cut out tonight?
I think we hit them pretty hard.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And Shanti, I guess you can go back to take your nap, continue your nap.
Watch Parks and Rec. Lazy.
So, I want to thank everybody in the chat. We had quite a nice group. We never do these quick cut episodes live, but we did one live tonight, and we did our interview with Mark Austin last night. I hope you guys caught that. Also on YouTube, check that out. And where can folks find you guys?
Give them the Twitter because you messed it up.
We are at The Escape Pod.
There you go.
on
Twitter.
And it's up on screen.
I'm at Jetfire1979 on Twitter.
Oh my God. I have to tell my Twitter handle is lowercase o 0 capital BIG underscore capital LOVIN 0 lowercase o. There you go.
Dude, you need to change that.
Yeah.
I know. I'm going to change it because I have to keep repeating it every week. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to simplify it.
I love it. Makes me laugh every time. Oh, I'm Della Snooch on Instagram.
Because I have to read the back of my eyelids just to repeat it.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
It's
And
awesome.
Shanti, where can folks find you?
On Twitter at Chantal729.
And here at the Scare of Scuttlebutt podcast, isn't that right?
Yes.
We had such a fun time yesterday talking with Mark Austin, and my other co-host, Brad, surprised us. I saw him tweeting something, and I'm like, wait a minute, are you around? Did you stop blowing shit up in the South Sea or whatever it is that you he joined us, which was great. And we also recorded with Frank, who's also in the chat. Thank you, Frank, for our time travel episode. That was a lot of fun. And
Trevor Beast is in the chat.
Trevor Beast is in the chat. Thank you guys. Before we leave, I just want to thank you guys for heading down here to Chicago. We had an amazing time at ScarifCon. And if you guys in the chat don't know what ScarifCon is, just do a quick search on the hashtag ScarifCon 2021. The 19th of last month, was it the 19th? It was last month sometime. I think it was the...
No, it was around the 10th.
I don't even know anymore.
10th. Right, yeah. But
I think it was the 10th.
we all had a fun time at the comic book store here in Chicago, and with Dominic, we had dinner, and then Shanti went dancing at afterwards at what was the name of that? The Birdcage.
The Birdcage.
Yeah.
That really
That looked
interesting
like
wall.
quite the bar.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to 2022.
Yeah, 2022.
Absolutely.
Everyone has to
You guys aren't that super far. You guys are close, no?
3.5 hours.
Oh, that's nothing.
It's nothing.
No.
Oh my God. Yeah,
It is
definitely.
nothing.
We're hoping to get there for C2E2 this winter.
Yeah, that's in December, and I know Shanti, you have a little
Trying
bit
to
more
make
of
that
a
happen.
distance, but
That's okay.
yeah.
Trying to get used to traveling.
Excellent. So again, guys, thank you very much. This is Quick Cuts episode 74 podcast show recording on the Scare of Scuttlebutt podcast. Any final words?
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, this is Ro from the Scare of Scuttlebutt podcast. If you guys want to leave us a voicemail, I know I get ridiculed for using voicemail by our resident techie, Mr. Sean, over at another Star Wars podcast. Give him a follow, too. We're all located very conveniently on the Red 5 Network website. Check us out. There's definitely a podcast for everyone. And we just love doing what we do and sharing our love of all things geek, whether you like Star Wars, Marvel, DC, comic books. We're all over the place. We are there. So check us out at the Red 5 Network. But leave us a call. Leave us a voicemail and give us a call at 773-234-8659. Drop us a voicemail. Say hello. We love hearing voices more than the voices that we already hear. Exactly. So this is Rose signing off. Thank you guys in the chat. May the force be with you. Brad, stay safe wherever you're at. And that is the Scuttlebutt. Take a drink, everybody.